The Premier League is. Well, we need like a what's it called? An intro, like a jingle, you know.
Now we definitely
get Kabzados. Oh, Benta.
Oh, we're on. Kagetsu's just muted there. All right. What to do, everybody? Apologies for the delay. There was load shedding or sabotage. I have a feeling it's probably these Arsenal and Liverpool fans out here who are taking electricity, trying to stop this show from going on live on a night that Arsenal should see their asses handed to them. I'm over here, the wise Neo, on your top right. I've switched the screens a little bit. Just below is Kegetso, the one and only. Now we got Keletsi. Oh, sipping on the sip. Come on, we're commemorating. Premier League is back, baby. Premier League is back. Call your wives, call your girlfriends, call your side chicks. Tell them, see you later. Come on. On the bottom left, you got Keletsi, Smooth Criminal. You know what it is. Right over there, PTA represent. Then we got Maxi over there, top left, on top of Keletsi. All the way from Canada, Kenta. Come on. And we got Miller, Mike. My ears are over there in the middle. I don't know where he is. He's probably doing that right now, telling his partner that Premier League is back. I'ma call you after halftime. We're analyzing. No time for chats. We're back. What to do, gents?
What do you
do?
Good.
Yeah, the Premier League is back. Yes, boys. Yes.
I gave my girlfriend a week in advance. Told her, hey, Friday night. 9:15. Don't look for me. You won't find me. I'll be there. Come on.
It's my girlfriend's birthday on Saturday, so I've already bought a very expensive present because she's not going to see it.
Oh, no.
She's not apologize already.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll make up for it.
Yeah, I can see over here. Just to tell you guys, before we get into it, there's about 30 seconds left. Aston Villa, Sheffield United game. It's still 0-0. Guys are looking mad, unfit. Obviously, this is a better result. We would have hoped that Aston Villa would have won for our sake, but right now it's looking like a draw.
Yeah. Look, Sheffield are good. Yeah, someone was telling me that they've got the second best defensive record in the league after Liverpool. So I mean they've done fucking well. To think that they're newly promoted, but they're like 8th place or something like that. I mean, that's actually quite impressive. If they had won, like I was saying, they were gonna leapfrog us. So I'm happy. I just hope we're not rusty on Friday.
And think about it.
Yeah, they've definitely.
They haven't really.
They don't have much in their squad, though. Eh? They don't have much in their squad. Nah, they just work like a unit under a system.
So do you think it's more a case of the coaching they're getting, or what euphoria in the team, momentum carrying them? Can they keep this up in the Champions League, or they'll be whipped right out if they make it? God forbid.
They'll need players to if they're in the Champions League. But from a systems point of view, Chris Wilder has just knocked it out of the park.
100%.
That overlapping centre backs thing of his. I mean, the first time I heard about it, I was like, what? Overlapping centre backs. So yeah, and he's been excellent. Remember when they played us? Like, fuck, they could have actually chowed us if we didn't have that like 17-minute spell of brilliance.
Tell us more about this overlapping thing, because it's the first time I'm hearing about it.
So it's
centre backs overlap.
Overlap what?
So they have like as in the centre back will push up and be the option for the cross from the wing. So they'll play 3 or 4 at the back, and depending on where the ball is at any time, you'll actually have the centre back pushing up and one of the defensive midfielders coming back to create 3 at the back, and then the centre back will create the overlap with the left winger, and then boom, get the ball, be able to cross it in. It's actually it's because you can't mark him. He's coming from late. It's actually quite a useful tactic. They started doing it last year. Yeah, yes, it's interesting. I think they're the only team I've seen it do it, but they've been doing it for so long that they just know how to do it.
Well, that's not true. You know one player who's been doing it, but just hasn't been able to execute it. David Luiz. That guy's been trying. That guy's been trying to be there. He should be playing for Sheffield United, actually.
Yeah. I think a lot of Arsenal fans will agree with you, bro.
They're like, yeah, should they go? Well, look at them now. I mean, they're below Sheffield. That's crazy, man. And there's also a lot of heart. I can tell you now, these guys will give Barcelona a hard time. I promise you. I'm not saying they would win.
Definitely.
I'm not saying they'd win both legs, but they would definitely like cause an issue. Because I was watching how these guys play. They're physical, man. Yeah, as well. And they've got a brilliant keeper. That's another clean sheet for Dino Henderson over there right now.
Yeah.
So the question is, when do we... Dean Henderson, he's the shit. Future England #1. But when do we replace Dave with Dean?
After the next season.
Do we replace Dave with Dean?
Not now. I don't think you can now, because you know what? As much as he's done really well in 2 straight seasons, I think he needs another season. Next year, Sheffield United will be playing Europe, either Europa or UEFA. Hopefully Europa. That'll be a good season for him. You know, get a full year of Premier League, Cup football plus Europa. Then you can say, okay, how is this guy faring after playing against European opposition as well as playing in the league for 2 years in a row? Then you can kind of suss it out. That's my opinion.
I think also just giving Dave a season to play with a proper defensive pairing and 100%. See how he does. You maybe put in a CDM and then we see how he does after that.
I mean, Dave is what? I mean, what is he, like 28 or something? We still got like at least 5 years.
10
maybe not 10. He's not Edwin van der Sar.
He's not Buffon, bro.
How long did... why not? Who says he can't? It really comes down to passion and desire.
10 years, dog. Who is an elite 38-year-old goalkeeper nowadays? Except for Buffon.
GG.
But, but, you know, to be honest, I don't know much about goalkeepers. I haven't played a FIFA game in years, and that used to keep me abreast about what's going on in the football world. I think we're seeing a transition from the older generation to the younger generation now, because a lot of the brilliant superstars we have now, they're young. We've got Oblak, he must be a youngster. Dave, still a youngster. So we've seen that transition now. It's a matter of seeing how long they play.
It's because we're getting old, man. Our guys are getting old. Boy Hazard are now approaching 30. Did you know Daniel Sturridge is 30 years old? I was like, what? Sturridge? I feel like that guy's
been there for a minute.
Yeah.
I was in high school when he started
his
playing
career
football.
has just passed by.
Yeah.
Injury.
Boy.
That's quite
he was
sad.
good.
That's quite
good.
sad, though. In all honesty, that's very sad. But the reality is that's football, man. How many players have come and gone, you know, through people's time when watching football? 10 years from now, guys will be like, Rooney? That guy's a legend. It's like how Platini and them would be, you know. Guys would be like, Wayne Rooney. You'd be like, Wayne Rooney. Your son would be like, Dad, come on.
But also, I don't know what's really sad about Sturridge's career. The guy's made thousands, millions of pounds. So what's there to be sad about?
It
just seems like he never lived up to what he was supposed to be. Chelsea, not really. Liverpool had a couple of good seasons, but
it's like Balotelli. Jeez.
Oh,
Balotelli's a sad case. Oh,
he got fired from his latest club. Did you guys hear about that?
I mean,
what for?
Hometown club. So apparently, he had been misbehaving, not attending practices, taking things lighthearted. Anyway, recently, and it's a weird story, he legit got sick. And he had a doctor's note. But the club president was like, you know what, F this nigga, I'm tired of his shit. Cut him from the roster. Balotelli pitches up to practice with this sick note. At the gate, security is like, nah, fam, we don't want you here. We don't want you here.
Hey, man, it's Italy.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, he's looking for a club at 29 years old.
Hey, man, that guy.
Surely you go to China at that stage. Now you just go straight to China.
You could make some good money in China as well.
Yeah,
hey, but imagine Balotelli in China. He'd just be, with the Chinese government, he'd be deported quick.
Watch him, that guy's just he's a result of racism.
How did you guys see how Grealish played in today's game?
Not really. I only saw one moment where where he got tackled and he just flew onto the ground. But it wasn't that impressive in my eyes. Like I think the guy, I forget the winger's name. I think he's an Algerian.
Mohammedi.
He played for Ajax.
Is it Trezeguet? Oh no.
No,
I
think it's Al Gaz. I forget his name. I'll check. Actually, let me just check now quick.
Fact check.
Al Ghazi. Yeah, he played well. I think he was the only person in that team who played well. Grealish was nowhere for me, but I'm not gonna be too harsh on him because all of these guys looked unfit, bro. Like you can just tell it's not that crisp. Yeah, it's not that crisp football. This is preseason, postseason.
What position does he actually play?
Well, he played as a winger in this game.
Left or right?
I think he was left. He was on the left-hand side.
Okay.
Because he's like he's a number 10. He plays as a forward player. So he's a number 10, but he can play in the front three, but more on the wings. But I think he's better suited in the midfield position. That's why I don't like him for us. Honestly, I think I like maybe his character on the pitch, maybe. But like I'm just struggling to understand where he's really gonna fit. Because for me, I see him more of a midfield player. I don't want him on the wing. And who you gonna take off?
Question.
Pogba. You're gonna take off Bruno. You're gonna take off Scotty, Fred. I mean, who?
He is the backup for Bruno then.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, if you Liverpool and City have shown that if you want to win all the trophies, you need depth, quality depth. The problem is if you're gonna buy him at 80 million, like you guys were saying last week, then it's not worth it. So I still maintain 40-45 million will be enough to get him. But yeah, you're right. I don't think he comes in and he takes over from anyone. He just adds that extra.
But then are you buying a backup for 60, 70?
That's too much.
That's even more. I don't know if you'll get to that much.
And when Donny is going for about between 40 and 50.
Rather him.
Who, Donny van de Beek?
He's a champion.
Yeah, sorry, first name basis, sorry.
he's a
Donny, if you're watching this, prove it. Tweet at Banterville. Tell us that you and KK are like this.
He's a proven champion. You need guys who know how to win trophies.
Man,
much younger.
Much younger.
Donny guys, but it's
what trophy has he won? What the Dutch league?
Yeah.
How do you say Eredivisie or something like that?
Something like that. Eredivisie, I think.
All due respect.
But also Champions League final,
Premiership.
Don't be like that, dog.
Champions League final though as well, and he's played in Champions League at 22, 23. He's played in the Champions League for like 2-3 seasons.
Yeah. So he's got it, man. He's played European football. He's felt the pressure of holding down a town like that. I'm just saying. So just to maybe
especially in England.
Yeah, true. They'll call him Donny the Savior.
So on the winger, I saw that we're apparently linked to Willian from Chelsea.
What? No ways, old man Willian. Nah, that's just a rumor. That's his agent trying to just get him
a new contract.
Payday.
Oh yeah, because the contract is up, huh?
Yeah. There's Man United's always used as a makeshift in these things. Fuck.
I saw that we also linked this week to Leon Bailey from Bayer Leverkusen.
I saw that.
Yeah, the Jamaican.
Yes, I saw that.
Like, I wouldn't mind that.
Starting.
As a backup for Sancho.
Yeah.
Not even starting.
Well, he would be a good alternative.
We got James.
Yeah, but
why do you need Leon Bailey?
No, but you know what we need? You know what we need on the wings, bro? We need guys who can take guys on also. I'm not saying James can't. He takes them on with pace. But these other guys, Sancho, Leon, they take on guys with pace and trickery. You know when we're playing those teams, when they sit at the back, and now you're trying to break defenses. You need a guy who gets the ball on the wings, takes on 1-2, in the box.
Nah, bro.
James can't do that.
Who does that in the Premier League?
What do you mean who?
Who takes on with skill and gets past the man? And
Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling, Mahrez.
Skill.
Yeah.
Martial
Martial can do it. We've seen him do it. Rashford can also do it as well. Dude, there's a lot of guys. What you call it? From Arsenal, you see Lacazette and these guys doing funny things from time to time.
They can. I will tell you, all of those are those the hill that you're gonna die on. Maybe Martial, but even he's inconsistent. He can only do it from the left. Actually, that one little trick gets to the left, jukes twice, and then gets past the player.
But have you seen what Rashford's been doing?
I think only. Yeah, Rashid could. I think only Hazard, for me, only Hazard had that skill, that ability to beat a player with trickery, get into a position to give the finished article. The Premier League is not a skillful man's league.
Dog. Bernardo Silva, Mohamed Salah does it at times too as well. I'm not talking about dog. Come on, they do. You need that.
Skilly.
But remember, even maybe Salah not necessarily, but what Salah does is very precise. So he'll beat you by getting you on a weak side, but then he clinically finishes. Our boy Dan James doesn't have that, bro. Not yet. Remember when last
year he scored? Bailey does.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but you see, Homeboy's 21. He came from the Championship last season, his first season in the Premier League. He's gonna get time. He's gonna get time to be able to do all of that. I think you stunt his growth if you bring in a Leon Bailey for no reason other than Homie can do a step over.
Nah, but we need another winger.
How about Memphis? Memphis to buy. Buying back.
He's a striker now. He plays in that number 9.
Shows versatility.
No, we don't want.
He can act as a wing backup and a strike backup.
We don't need any more Bentleys showing up at what's the place called?
Yeah.
What's our training ground called again?
Carrington.
Aeon. There we go. We don't need guys coming in there with cowboy boots anymore. This is serious now.
Okay, now with that being said, what players do you think we need to buy, position-wise?
I think
give me 4 players you think we need.
Right now, as it is, we need, and I'm gonna say what we need and what we can get, because there's a difference. So I'm gonna say both. I'm gonna imply both. So I think we need another right winger, for sure. We need someone who can back up Bruno. But I think what's more of a priority is I think we need a backup for Matic. I know Fred and them can play there and they're quite good at it, but those guys are more box to box, They're not guys you want sitting in front of the back four.
Defenders.
Then another center back. So that's another right winger, an anchor man, and center back. Of course, trading Phil Jones. I wouldn't just buy another one. We have a shitload of center backs, so you have to trade one. You have to sell or trade one. We can't afford to get another one on the books. It's not going to work.
My feel with a backup for Matic would be to let Ghana come through in the next season.
Fair. That's actually, that's
From the youth setup.
Yeah, that's actually fair. That's not a bad suggestion, actually.
Well, we know it's not going to happen, but it would be the ideal foil.
Uncle, let's see you making noise in the corner there. What are your thoughts and sentiments?
I agree on the right winger. Definitely, obviously, Sancho's the guy. At CDM, I'm still not 100% certain that we do need a new guy. Just given the depth we have in that space, the way Oli wants to play with the 2-man pivot, 4-2-3-1. I don't know. If we do get someone like Declan Rice, then I think it's good. If we don't, we're not going to cry. Left back, I think we sorted. Right back, we probably need some cover for AWB, unless Fosu Mensah pulls up. And I think striker for me is you've got Martial. You need backup. So if Igalo, if we had him full time, I think that would be fine. I think he's at that level. We'll see what happens in these last 8 games. But I definitely think we need to find quality backup, because you saw what happened when Martial got injured. For those couple of weeks, we were nowhere. We couldn't score a goal to save our life. So I think I would probably say
with Martial on the field.
Exactly, and he plays better from that left side as opposed to the front.
100%.
I think they'll play even much better now with Paul as well.
Maeza, your thoughts?
Look, Igalo for me is a no.
Why are you hitting on our brother?
No, there's no future with Igalo. He's too old.
He's your age.
I had to pause with that statement, Kileti.
That's a yellow card. Yellow card.
Guys, this is facts. This is facts. All right. I'll mute.
All right. I think for me, Gallo, there's no future there. Jadon Sancho is a priority for me. It's a must. We don't have. We have what's his name, young James, but he's a bit young, man. I know they're the same age, but in terms of quality as a footballer, I think Sancho offers more. We do need a backup there with the fullbacks. If we get Declan Rice, that'll be nice. I think Matic has really run his course. I don't see a future with Matic. I don't see a future with Mata neither. I think Mata's time for him to go. It would be nice to get someone else there in the midfield to cover Bruno Fernandes. Definitely not that model there by Aston Villa. Striker is a good one. I really do think that getting a good quality striker, it would have been nice if we got the man there at Dortmund. It would have been very nice if we had a striker like that. Very powerful, very fast and young. There's a future there. And also for the left, I don't know. Well, we have James, I suppose. So I suppose we don't really need too many wingers now because we actually have a lot of left-sided wingers. I hope Lingard can go as well as Chris Smalling, as well as Jones and what's our keeper's name again? Sergio. What's his name again? Sergio Romero. He can also go as well. It would be nice to get another left back, but you guys were saying that the young what's his name, Williams is not doing too badly. But I would prefer something.
Now we sorted. Next 10 years, Dan.
I don't really like Luke Shaw very much, to be honest with you, but anyway.
By the way, what you call it? I think
injury prone, weight issue.
The only issue with Haaland for me, right, and I think maybe that's why it's good he didn't come, is that Haaland also needs people who can feed into the ball nicely, especially from the wings as well. I feel like we struggle with assists from the wing, in particular. Like, how many good crosses do we actually have from the wings? Normally you'll see a lot of good football coming from the wing, inverting inward, a Paul Pogba pass or a Bruno pass, you know what I mean? But like actually from our wingers themselves, how many assists are really actually being generated from?
Just remember, our wingers are inside forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. The best assist I've seen from the wing came from AWB. I forgot the game.
Oh yeah, the
cross he delivered. I just remember what a picture of a ball.
Thing is,
Thing
is, and also apologies for interrupting you as you were going, but we don't have out and out wingers. We haven't had an out and out winger since Tony Valencia.
Yeah.
So look, Rashford can't really cross very well to save his life. He can shoot the ball definitely. Lingard can't do anything. Honestly, we don't have.
James can't cross, even though he's a winger.
Yeah, but I think James can learn. But the thing is that he's just a bit small.
Yeah,
he needs to just bulk up a bit. But I think if he gets a little bit more power, I think he'll be a quality signing futuristically. I think there's a lot of talent in that kid. But if you get Sancho, oh my man, we have everything.
Cross. One, two with AWV. The cross.
We have everything. We have swagger, agility, straight sails, everything in one player.
The only thing about him that I don't know is I don't know if he can actually work back. That's the one thing I'm not aware of. And Max, what do you think?
He has AWB behind him. He doesn't need to do anything.
Yeah.
You're doing so well until that last statement. Your bias is just all over the place. We love the kid. But answer the facts. Can he defend or not? That's what we want to know.
Look,
but I'm dying him to defend.
Max, please don't come with this Jose Mourinho mentality because we're managing superstars, right? You want these guys to offer you, you want them to offer the energy into attack. You can't get Jadon Sancho, who's all the way up on the other side of the field. You don't need to track all the way back to come and defend, man. To come and defend a winger. Come on, man.
Which is all fine and dandy, but this is the modern game we're talking about now. You need to be a multifaceted
and also
player.
Remember,
but you cover. You doesn't need to run all the way track back.
Remember Ronaldo? Yeah, they taught him to track back, son. That guy was a beast. He used to track back. So Alex told him,
but remember,
Ronaldo
used to track back. He used to mock the fullback. He wasn't mocking the winger.
Yeah.
So
what I will say, Mike, is that when we play the Aston Villas, the Sheffield Uniteds and stuff like that, it's okay. Sancho can do his thing up front. But when we come across those elite squads with those elite fullbacks like, what's his name, Alaba and Co., you need people who are present and aware.
Yeah.
We've been exposed in games by Pogba's not checking back. We've lost games because Pogba has not checked back. So I don't think it's a fair enough excuse to say that
you know that
just needs to focus
when
on
Pogba
attack.
loses the ball.
Max, I hear you. But I need you to understand that when you're a midfielder, when you're an engine, it's a different story. You know, when you're playing in the midfield, it's a different story. You're the heart and the engine of the team. On the wing, you can get away with not tracking back a couple of times. Bro. Imagine
a couple of times
run back every single time because most of his game is in the final third of the other pitch. Pogba shouldn't be in the other box. Actually, he shouldn't be there.
So, Mike, you're right. Sometimes we forget that people have specific roles, and not everyone has to do everything. And that's sometimes the issue.
That is the issue. And Jose Mourinho, the problem with Jose Mourinho is he puts so much pressure on the wingers to track back that it takes away all their energy. That's why Hazard and them were always complaining about Mourinho.
Yeah. But in fairness to Mourinho, I think his biggest issue was that he identified his defense was a problem. Let's not forget, we saw that guy up the river when he asked for Harry Maguire. So if you've got a deficiency somewhere, you have to fill that gap. And I feel he felt like the wingers could help fill the deficiency. But you are right in the sense that if he's a winger, he doesn't have to come back all the time, but he needs the football IQ to know that I can't be sitting on my ass right now while that guy's charging down the sideline.
Yeah. But look, if Sancho sees Alaba charging down, he's not going to leave him. Right? He won't leave him.
We hope so. I don't know shit about this Sancho cat, if I'm honest. I'm excited.
Don't defend.
If Vinicius is charging down, he's going to be like, look, Wan-Bissaka, do your thing. Come on.
But have you seen those games? What I don't want, the one weakness that Wan-Bissaka has sometimes. Have you seen sometimes when he gives up a little bit too easily? I'm just like, Chief, come on, dog. Like 90 minutes, go at it. So if that ever happens and your winger's also not like going back, but the nice thing about that is, I think since Bruno's been there, I don't see it too much. Because now there's a lot of guys who are now shouting on the pitch, say, what the fuck are you doing? Chase, nigga, chase.
No, but let's be fair to Wan-Bissaka, right? In 90 minutes, in a 90-minute game, this guy's giving you mad energy for 80 minutes. So maybe he must switch off for a good 10 minutes. Because he's young. I mean, he's 22 or something, right?
Yeah, let me ask you a question. How much does he get paid a week?
No, but come on. He's giving you... all I'm saying is 80
minutes. Not a lot.
80 minutes. Do you see what that guy was doing? You see what that guy did with Sterling? He had Sterling here.
But that's also because
more
Sterling
than one
doesn't...
occasion.
Yeah,
on more than one occasion.
But Sterling doesn't track back, so he's always just up front. So you'll know, you're like, that one. Yeah.
That's because you see, Pep Guardiola has a very good system. It brings back to what KK was saying, the system. You don't need everyone to be defending. You need a specific amount.
The same thing that you can't expect goals and assists from Matic.
It's true.
He's a defensive player. Don't look at Matic and say, yeah, but how many goals did he get? How many assists did he get? It's not his job.
It's not his job. Do your job on the pitch. Sancho, we want to see assists and we want to see goals and creativity. Yeah. I don't want to see Sancho making thousands of tackles. That's not what I'm paying 100 million for.
Yeah.
And now you want to waste all of his energy on tracking back and covering people for what? It's not his strength.
Just on the Igalo one, Mike. Sorry to cut. What if the plan?
It's cutting their cakes.
Shit.
Is the game started, gents?
Yeah. And there's already an injury.
Okay.
There's already an injury. Xhaka is out, bro. He's done. They even brought out the stretcher. I was done.
Can it Xhaka?
He didn't stretch properly.
Cakes, what are you saying? You're talking about Igalo.
I was saying, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying, what if the whole thing of getting Igalo for another 6 months is so that he can share the responsibility with Greenwood next season?
Oh, just
and
so.
After that, he goes back, and then Greenwood is behind Martial.
Yeah. Remember, Greenwood is he's 17, 18. So that lad needs a bit more time, actually.
He needs to grow some muscle.
If you get a full-time striker that's going to be there 4 or 5 years, Greenwood goes number 3 now.
Yeah, but if you get an Igalo who's 30 years old, he's only in the game for another 2-3 years. Then it's all good. Then by the time Greenwood hits that 19, 20, boom, he's had a couple of years. He's Rashford-esque. So I think yeah, that makes sense. That's why another reason why I'd probably say Igalo makes sense as an option for full time. Obviously, he's not going to give up the money because those guys are paying £400,000 a week, something ridiculous like that. So he's not going to give it up. But you want someone like that. I think that's the mold of the player you want.
And you're not going to get 400K from United if you're Igalo. That's not going to happen.
Nah.
Not while you're still paying Sanchez also.
The thing that Max was saying about Mourinho and the defense. The reason why we were upset at Mourinho wanting to buy another defender was because he already bought 3 defenders.
Yeah, true.
Lindelof, Bailly.
That's the reason, because we're not scoring goals, but you want to buy a defender.
No, look, I'm sorry. I'm thankful for Mourinho. I am, but also at the same time, the man failed, bro. He couldn't get us there. He mustn't hate. It is what it is. Maybe you say he doesn't have backing, but he keeps complaining about freaking center backs. Cool, bro. Let's score goals first, homie. Let's get some players who can make things happen in front, because guys park the bus against Man U all the time. For me, the problem, we've never had a crisis with regards to defense. I don't think we've ever, in a very long time, we haven't had a crisis, as in where we've had to be man, we're bleeding crap load of goals. Without a defender, we will not survive. It hasn't been that. I think even since Ferguson's time, remember when Ferguson was there, he still wanted to get another midfielder. There was an issue around creativity, trying to revamp the wings. So I just felt the players that they were getting up front they were not doing enough. Because as much as maybe we were conceding goals here and there, what were the guys up front doing as well? And Mourinho just had also a pessimistic attitude. But I will say though, why I say I'm also thankful for him is because he has helped to shape a few things. I mean, Rashford is one of the guys who's come out to say, man, I'm thankful to Mourinho. There is learnings that he's passed, but it just wasn't enough. Those are the facts. It wasn't enough.
Mourinho is a quality manager. We know this.
He is.
Just that Mourinho became a bit of a Kanye West, where he just started giving him hype too much.
Hey, bro, Kanye West is still a billionaire, so it's all right, eh?
Kanye West was wilding on stage. I'm talking about that Kanye.
Yeah. He's still wailing, fam. He's still wailing.
He's different now. He's wailing with perspective. It's a different thing.
That was Kanye.
I will say this in regards to Mourinho. When he got fired, we really felt he was the bad guy. Now we look back and we realize that there were greater issues in play. So we give him respect for that. But like Neo said, he flopped. Next.
Yeah, next. It's the biggest club. It's the biggest club in the world, bro. So this is the biggest rebuild in the world. It's not a surprise that some of the best managers are failing. It's not gonna be easy.
Dude, you get Oli here. I think Oli it's so good because people don't put too much pressure on the manager now, because it's Oli. He's not a high-profile manager, so you're not gonna put all that pressure on him. But honestly, look, if Oli can do it, then hats off to him. But it is going to be a very difficult task.
But let's not lie. Corona also saved Oli a bit, but even I wouldn't even say Corona. There was a period where we, as a team, felt he should have been kicked out. A lot of us were starting to say he doesn't have it. He's not up to scratch. Yeah, Bruno came and saved this man's job, quite literally.
It was before Bruno.
But who decided to buy Bruno? So yeah, you got to give the man credit. The man always had a plan.
No,
he always knew what he wanted to 100%. Do. The execution, yeah. And then I mean, we were on fire when Corona hit us. We were on top. We were like here. We were winning. Exactly.
Bruno was showing us magic.
I actually would have preferred to have played Spurs prior to Corona because those guys were just seeing their ass. Like straight.
Yeah. Bergwijn was just injured.
Straight
Harry Kane,
Harry Kane was out.
Song was
also
out.
Bergwijn was out, yeah. So
And Kane, boy.
They're fully fit, boy.
Everyone's fit now.
When Kane hits form, 2 goals, 3 goals, just like that.
But you know what? In all honesty, for Friday's game, I honestly think they should actually start Lindelof, because I'm just worried about them. I'm looking at these guys here, bro, like who are playing. You know, there's a rustiness there. I'm just worried about Bailly flying in, because I know for a fact that guy is not. We're gonna see a sliding tackle from hell that day. It's happening. It's happening. If he's playing, it's happening. But my problem is, like in this, what you call in the beginning of this game, Sturridge got taekwondo roundhouse kicked by one of the defenders here, bro. Right in the so I just feel like, we can't afford to lose that game. That's the one game I'd rather lose the next one than this one. If Tottenham get a win in this, they're back in it.
Look, no. Bailly, man, don't do that to Bailly, bro. Just not Phil Jones, bro.
No, just not.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Before we cut, so I can't remember what I was watching, but they made such a nice point that we keep on hearing that we are only getting Sancho if we get Champions League football, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you guys realize that we got Pogba when we didn't even have Champions League football? Why does Sancho? Is that? And then someone was like, "Is that the type of player that you want? That only wants glory, Champions League?"
He's got Champions League now. He's one of the biggest players in the world.
Paul was at Juventus with Champions League, and he still came to us. And he's going to cost more than Paul.
There was a story with Paul. Paul had the history. You know, there was Paul was going to be the main man as well. There was another thing that it was slightly different. Sancho doesn't have the same sort of relationship that Paul had with Man United. You know, I think that's one of the things. And then obviously at the time Mourinho was the coach as well. So you had that star power of Mourinho that brings Paul in. So yeah, there's I think slight nuances, slight differences that make the situation different.
Granted, but do you want a player who doesn't want to graft? Because you guys always say this. No, we want hardworking players. You know, who's going to play for the badge. This guy is only going to play for us if we get Champions League.
Well, I mean,
is he going to leave when you hit Europa?
No, of course not. He'll be paid Rex.
Now you can leave for 200 million. Stop.
I really don't think that you guys can say that. Look, I want you guys look, my boy Sancho, you know, he's not gonna come to us only if we have Champions League football. That is just the media doing its thing. It's the same way as you say. I mean, they were saying the same thing about Pogba. You know, if Sancho will come if he wants to come. That's the bottom line.
This is true.
That's the bottom line.
And maybe in closing, can we get a Max rant to close off before we join in at the Etihad?
Sure. So last time I spoke about the media and how they always have fictitious, nonsensical articles about Manchester United's transfer season. This week, I don't have a rant per se against people in football, but more so against racism and discrimination in the world, specifically linked to Rashford's situation where there was that lady, what's that fool's name there? Katie something.
Yeah, Katie something.
Yeah, Katie Jojo,
Karen,
whatever.
Karen.
Yeah, Karen. Where she decided to attack Rashford for trying to feed hungry children in England. And I think as human beings, we need to identify said people and we need to excommunicate them from society. That's it. Because all we had here was a young man who fought for the rights of young kids, and this lady had the nerve to shut him down and look down upon him. So yeah, that's all I have to say, man. Society needs to find these people and we need to get rid of them because they are poison. Shout out to Marcus Rashford for his work.
Holla. Thank you, Rashi. All right, guys. That's it for today. We'll be back next week. Back to the usual time. Depending if there is any fixtures, we'll plan around the fixtures so that we can actually catch on time. But thanks again, gentlemen. Let us go straight to the Etihad from South Africa to Manchester, and let's pray for an Arsenal demise. Much love.